Good evening. 2 years ago, we started into a collaborative process across campus among faculty, staff, and students to attempt to come up with some long-term stretch goals for the university. We had town hall meetings like this so we could get ideas from the community. We had online systems to collect data. Again, it was a 2-year process, and out of that we came up with 5 goals for the campus. Now, these goals are set for 2025. We consider them kind of interim goals, and we have a 5-year review process on the goals, so every 5 years we're going to look at them, see if we need to stretch them out further. And the goals span across several areas. 2 of them deal with climate, and I'm going to talk about those tonight. 2 of them deal with healthy communities, protecting the Huron River watershed and finding sustainable food sources for our on-campus food systems. And then the final one is waste reduction. So our climate goal, basically our guiding principle is to work toward a long-term goal of becoming climate neutral. Carbon neutrality really is not an achievable goal at this point in time. Technically, it's just not there. There's not enough renewable out there to make it happen. But that's kind of our long-term stretch of where we'd like to get to. So our 2025 goals touch on 2 areas. The first one deals with our buildings. And basically, we want to reduce our Scope 1 and Scope 2 greenhouse gases by 25% below 2006 levels. Now, for those of you who don't understand, Scope 1 emissions are those that are produced on campus through our central power plant, our boilers, and our transportation vehicles. And Scope 2 emissions are what we purchase through our electricity that we buy from DTE. So we account for the emissions from those coal power plants out there in our Scope 2. And our second goal is to try to increase the amount of ridership and clean up our transportation fleet so that we can reduce the carbon per person that rides our vehicles. Now, last year we were up to about 6.5 million riders on our bus system, another several million on the Ann Arbor transportation system. The more riders we can get on the buses, the less reliance we have on people driving to the campus. It's a win-win, and we want to try to get 30% below our 2006 levels on the per-person carbon. So where are we at right now? The top graph deals with our overall campus greenhouse gas emissions. The gold bars show the total amount of emissions that we produce in a year. That includes what we do on campus and what we buy from DTE. And then the black line on that top one is a per person, per million square foot normalized number so that we can see, are we making progress in what we're doing across our buildings. You can see our greenhouse gas emissions in total are up about 28% since 2004. Our building square foot is also up 22%, and our campus population has grown 12%. When you normalize it, our per person, per square foot greenhouse gas emissions are actually down 5.8%. And what that's telling us is the energy efficiency things that we're doing in our buildings are actually working. We're making them more efficient. We're bringing that number down. Now, obviously, we need to bring down that gold bar by 25% to meet our goal. So that's going to be a challenge. The bottom graph deals with our transportation systems, basically our campus buses. And you can see the black line there. Our carbon per person that rides our bus is on its way down, down about 24% since 2004. So we're doing great there. What we need to do there is to increase our ridership, which gets tough because our bus system runs pretty capacity right now, and to make our buses more efficient. So in the short term, we've got a couple things happening. On our energy efficiency in buildings, we have basically been doing energy programs in our buildings since the 1980s. We've been through the EPA Green Lights program, the EPA Energy Star program. We've done recommissioning. And then over the last 4 years, we started a program we called our Planet Blue program. And basically that is a recommissioning of buildings and educating our campus community on how to operate the building the most efficient way possible. And over 70 buildings we've completed so far, we're seeing at about an 8.6% drop in energy use across those buildings. And that's on average. Some buildings are hitting 30 to 40%, some buildings a little bit less, but on average 8.6. For new buildings, we have 2 goals in place. The first one is LEED Silver on our buildings. The second one is to take the national energy standard and go 30% beyond that standard. So we're really pushing the envelope on trying to make our buildings as efficient as possible. On the bus system, you've seen some of our new buses across campus, and Jamie's giving me the big 0-minute sign here. So what we've got is more energy efficient buses, 4 of them online already, 3 more on order, and over the next 5 to 6 years we're going to be replacing our fleet with more energy efficient buses. We also are looking at alternative energy sources. We have a program with DTE that we're working over the next 6 to 12 months where we're going to try to get about 600 kilowatts of solar energy on North Campus. And we've already purchased the energy from 2 of the windmills that the mayor mentioned. Accounts for about 2% of our energy purchase. Long-term challenge, this is the tough one, and I apologize for taking an extra minute on this, but it's kind of important. What you see here is our total overall energy use last year, about 720,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide was produced from this total energy bubble. The little sliver you see down on the bottom here, that's our transportation piece. It's only about 1% of our overall energy use across campus. It's not huge, but it's very visible, so a lot of people want us to do a lot with it, and that's where we're working toward. The blue side of it is what we produce from our power plant. Natural gas burning, cogeneration plant, about 80% efficient. The purple section is what's produced and what we buy from DTE. Coal-fired primarily, not very energy efficient because it's not cogeneration. It's running 45 to 50% efficiency. What we need to do in the long term is to reduce that purple side. And that's where the challenge is. It's looking for renewables, which, as we've already mentioned, aren't that available in this area, or find different ways to produce energy on campus that's done in a more energy efficient method. So that's our big challenge. That's a longer term and a very expensive challenge, but it's on our radar trying to look for ideas on how to accomplish that. So with that, back to Matt.
Thank you.